What's up, Hammerheads? We are back in the garage for another episode, and today we're going to be talking about something that interests me a whole lot, and that's wheels. I got some new wheels on Marketplace recently, and they are like a dream wheel for me. I really love them. I love this style. They are a BBS LM style wheel. These are reps. They're made by Alzor. They're pretty good. They're pretty good reps that Alzor makes. But we're going to talk about wheel size, wheel fitment, tire size, and a whole bunch of math. If that sounds dorky, it kind of is. But, you know, if you want good fitment, if you want that hella flush hot boy fitment, you got to do what you got to do. So get a calculator. It's not that difficult, and we're going to learn how to do it today. So these wheels are spicy, but yeah, pick these up. They are 8.5 wide by 18. ET 45. ET means offset. You can have positive offset or negative offset. We're going to talk about all that, but we're going to put them on this pile of junk and see how they fit and see if we need any spacers. I think we're going to need a tiny spacer in the rear. Basically, no spacer in the front. And we can figure all that out with math before we even put the wheels on. And basically, this wheel is listed at 8.5 inches wide. But the outside of the lip to the outside of the lip on the bottom side is going to be more than 8.5 inches. So, check this out. This is going to kind of explode your brain hole a little bit. Put a level across the lips. And you can see we're sitting at like 9.5 inches. So that tells you this wheel is 8.5 inches inside of lip to inside of lip. And if you see this little lip right here? See how that comes up? Basically, we're measuring from like inside here to the other side. So from the inside of this seat, which the wheel seats or the tire seats inside here, sorry. From the inside of this to here, oof, look at that curb rash. We're going to fix that. Don't worry, that'll all sand out. We're going to make that look nice. It's like a 1/2 inch, okay? So an 8.5 inch wide wheel, out to out, is actually more like 9.5 inches. So now that we know that, we can figure out what that is. Next step, flip the wheel over. No, we didn't clean the inside of the wheel yet, the barrel of the wheel. Don't hate on it. Get yourself another straight edge of any sort. I'm just using this little piece of pipe here. So we're going to get the tape measure back out. Sorry guys, I'm one human with two hands. So we're going to get this piece of pipe and, you know, put it across the inside hub and measure from the floor to the bottom edge of that pipe. Now I know you guys can't see it real well, but I can see it. And it's looking at about 3 1/8 inches. So 3 1/8 inches is what we got from hub to front lip, if you will. Now we can measure from the hub to the back lip. We can get all this information. So we had 3 1/8 inches in the front and about 6.5 in the rear. So I guess this wheel's closer to like 9 5/8 wide. So we can figure this out. We know that 1 inch is 25.4 millimeters. So we can do our math. Oops, sorry, bad lighting. We can do our math. We can take that 3.125. An 1/8 inch is 0.125 of an inch. So we can do 3.125 times 25.4. And that will give us how many millimeters of front spacing from the hub to, you know, the front lip of the wheel. We can figure all that out. So we can take this tire off, this piece of junk winter setup. We can take that tire off, use a straight edge, and figure out, you know, from the hub of the car to the fender of the car. See this? I have wheel spacers on this car. And see how that wheel is like flushed up. Watch that bottom bit of silver disappear. Boom, right there, right at the edge of the fender. So like this wheel fitment to me, despite monster truck ride height, because there's no coilovers on this car yet, this wheel fitment with the spacers that are on this car is like perfect right now. There's a 15 mil spacer in the front. There's a 20 mil spacer in the rear. So let's get a calculator and do some math. All right, so we said we had 3 1/8 inches, which is 3.125. And we know that 1 inch is 25.4 millimeters. So we times that by 25.4 and we get 79.375 millimeters. So we're just going to call it 79 millimeters from inside of hub to lip of wheel. So the car's up and on jack stands. Now, one thing you want to know when you're measuring for wheel fitment, which is what we're about to do, you want the load to be on the suspension, because when the suspension arms go up and down, it can camber in or camber out. Camber is how much your tire is leaning in or out at the top. A little bit of negative camber is good. 2 degrees of negative camber is probably perfect. 3 degrees, starting to push it. We're not Honda boys. We're not Stance Life. We're not about that. We want purposeful fitment, purposeful camber. So 2 to 3 degrees of camber is where I want to end up. These cars naturally camber in a little bit as the suspension travels up. So that'll give us a little bit of natural camber, which is probably, hopefully, right where we want to be. Now, let's jack this suspension up until the weight is on the jack, and then we can measure this fitment. Now, because there's no tire on here, we can jack up right on this bottom ball joint, which is absolutely perfect to jack up on. Now, the weight just came off that front jack stand, so we're exactly where we want to be. All right, so the weight's on the suspension, and I have this level here that is a magnetic level, so it is sticking right to the wheel hub right there. So that's sick. That worked out really, really cool. Now, we have a straight edge that's going up that would represent the hub. And we can hook right on this level and measure to the fender. And let me see if I can get you guys a good look at it. That is right about, let's see. Can you see that? About 3 1/4 inches. And we know that those wheels are like 3 1/8 inches from hub to face of lip. So that's kind of perfect. We'll be like an 1/8 inch in. We may even be able to do like a 3 or a 5 millimeter spacer to get that wheel pulled out just a tiny, tiny bit to get it like just hella flush, hot boy fitment. Now, we know that we had like 6 1/2 inches inside. Now, you can go too wide on a wheel. See that big crazy hub arm dooflinky in here? That sucker is huge. Now, we know that we're running 18s, but the total size, here, let's flip one of these units up. Yeah. Okay, so let's measure the total height of this thing. Wow. Like I said, guys, sorry about the videography. I know it's rough. Okay, so we are sitting right at about 24 3/4 inches. Half of 24 1/2 inches is 12 1/4 inches. So if we were to guess 12 1/4 inches up off of the center of the axle, we can see, you know, where we're going to hit up here. So then we can measure straight across and make sure that our tire and the inside of our wheel isn't going to hit anything. We have like 6.5 inches. So, hang on guys, hang on. The wheel's going to be hitting like right down in there. And we have 6.5 inches, and right here we're measuring about 6 3/4, maybe even closer to 7 inches. So that wheel should have just enough clearance on the inside. The wheel is going to hit right around here, and there's a little bit of stretch on those tires, so it's going to miss this control arm perfectly, I believe, I hope. And the wheel fitment really should be like spot on with this thing. So that's the basics of wheel fitment. Measure off the inside of the level to your fender. That'll give you your outside spacing. Figure out where you're going to hit in here. Measure from inside of level to whatever's going to hit. You know, if you're going to hit this, if you're going to hit that, whatever it might be, wherever you hit. Measure to what you think you're going to hit. That'll tell you how much clearance you have inside. And you can dial in your fitment. Okay, so I said earlier that these wheels were a ET45. What ET means is they're referring to offset. 45 is millimeters. So a 0 offset would be dead center of your wheel and tire setup. Now, when you go negative offset, you're going closer to the inside barrel side of the wheel. When you go positive offset, you're going towards the lip side of the wheel. These are, if they don't specify the offset, if it's just an ET45, which these are, they're calling that positive offset. They won't actually tell you negative or positive unless it is negative offset. That's just kind of a rule of thumb. That's pretty typical. So this hub inside here, that hub right there, is 45 millimeters towards the lip of the wheel from center. So that's your ET. So you can figure out how wide a wheel you can fit by measuring over there like we did. And then you can take those numbers and do all your maximums and, you know, become a mathematician and figure out exactly what you want your ET, your offset, to be. There are a million different offsets. You know, it's really unlimited what offset you can get. So that's just a basic quick breakdown. I know it seems like a lot. I know it seems confusing, but it's really truly not. It's just basic math. You'll measure in inches, times or divide by 25.4. That's how many millimeters are in 1 inch. And you'll be able to dial in your Hell Flush Hot Boy fitment. All right, this thing's still on crazy monster truck suspension, but oh my gosh, do those wheels look way too good. I put brand new red center caps in them, and I wasn't sure if I would like the red center caps, but man, do they look good. I really like the red center caps versus black. So now that the wheels are on and everything cleared, I actually had about a finger width of clearance on the inside on that front wheel to that big crazy arm dooflinky majigger. I could fit like 1 finger in there, so you know, at least ½ inch or something, yoink, on a finger. So yeah, now we can throw a level on the face of the wheel and actually, you know, measure off of the lip and everything and figure out if we can fit a little spacer front and or rear to really dial that fitment in perfectly. So let's use our handy dandy level, put it right across your lips. We should be able to, you know, measure this just by like eyeballing through it. I've got about a 1/4 inch there. So this front, a 1/4 inch is real close to 5 millimeters. A 1/2 millimeter is 12.7 millimeters. So this is 1/4 inch, we'll call it 6-ish millimeters. So I could get, conservatively, I could get a 5 millimeter spacer on the front. Now the back, I think is going to be more sunk, which it actually doesn't look that bad. The back, Yeah, we're close to a 1/2 inch back here. So in the back, I could run a 12mm spacer easily. Like I said, 1/2 inch is 12.7mm. So we need to get this thing slammed and see how much it cambers in, because I know the tops of the wheels are going to lean in a little bit. Right now, they are, you know, basically dead level. When this car gets lowered, this wheel is going to lean in probably close to a 1/4 inch at the top. So we might even be able to get more spacer on it. So you want to be at ride height, whatever your desired ride height is going to be, before you figure out spacer size. Also, these little rubber band tires are probably going to go away. These are a 225/40/18. Probably going to go to a 225/45/18, because we know we got a little bit of stretch on this tire. It's going to tuck up in the fender real nice, and we can go with a little bit higher tire to gain us a little bit of ride height. That way we can get the car really down onto these wheels and really get it really low and make it completely undrivable, make it totally useless and pointless. We won't even, I don't even want to be able to go over a speed bump when this is done. I want this thing low, like completely undrivable, because it's going to look really sick. So we're going to slam it next, and then we're going to worry about wheel spacers. We can go on Amazon and order some Chinesium spacers real quick. But now that we did all this measuring, now that we took the time with our level, our tape measure, our calculator, we are now math magicians, and we know exactly what we need. So come the spring, which is really close, this sucker's getting slammed, and then we can order spacers. So as much as I don't want to, I got to put my stupid winter setup back on this thing, because it ain't done snowing yet. So thank you for paying attention. Thank you for going through this with me. I hope you learned something. I hope this made sense and clarified it and made it seem simpler than you previously thought. So, like I always say, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Drop a comment, smash the thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. One more look. Ooh. And also, if you made it this far, you're one of the real ones. Tell me what wheels you're running. Drop a comment. Tell me what wheels you're running, what car you got them on. Thanks for watching. Peace.